$500 by Friday, or your gate access is digitally revoked.
I stood on my porch staring at this automated text from Brenda, our HOA president, while her surveillance drone literally hovered right above my fence line. She had just fined me for a porch chair and was now threatening to lock me out of my own neighborhood. She thought I was just another terrified homeowner who would quietly pay her extortion fee to avoid trouble. But she made one catastrophic mistake. She used a digital weapon against an IT professional. She had no idea I was about to use her own app to expose a massive financial scam, legally dismantle her entire board, and lock her out of the community forever. What would you do if a corrupt app tried to hold your home hostage? Drop your state in the comments below, because here is exactly how I crashed her system. Let me back up to where this nightmare really began. I am not a hotshot lawyer, and I'm not a retired civil engineer. I am an IT support guy. I fix databases for a living, organizing information and securing networks. 2 years ago, I bought my first townhouse in a so-called smart community. Everything here was app-controlled, from the heating systems to the security gates. It was marketed as a seamless, modern utopia. But when Brenda took over the board, she turned that convenience into a digital prison. The escalation didn't happen overnight, but when it started, it was ruthless. Brenda implemented an aggressive third-party violation software that issued automated fines via neighborhood cameras. Suddenly, the traditional warning clipboard was replaced by artificial intelligence and drones. There were no more friendly conversations over the fence. Just cold, hard fines appearing as push notifications on our phones. The breaking point for me wasn't my porch chair. It was watching my 78-year-old neighbor, Mrs. Gable, completely break down in her driveway. Brenda's automated system had hit her with 3 consecutive $150 fines because the AI detected that her garden gnomes were unapproved lawn modifications. Mrs. Gable was on a fixed income, terrified she would lose her home over plastic statues. Naturally, people were furious. But anyone who complained in the digital community forum got instantly banned by Brenda. She held the administrator keys, and she used them to silence any dissenting voices. But the biggest mistake you can make when fighting an abusive HOA is losing your temper. Emotions lose lawsuits, but documents with official seals win them. Ignorance is the main weapon of a corrupt board. So instead of confronting her, I stayed calm. I began to document everything obsessively. I set up my own logs, tracking dates, times, and network traffic from her app. I went to the county office and pulled the foundational covenants, conditions, and restrictions, along with the original deeds. Never trust the summary provided by the HOA. The original rules archived at the county often contain clauses that supersede the current board entirely. While I gathered the physical documents, I applied my professional skills. I analyzed the data packets from her violation app, looking at where the information was being sent and who was processing the payments. To force her hand legally, I invoked my state's HOA laws via certified mail, demanding the software vendor contracts. A certified mail receipt creates an undeniable paper trail that destroys false authority. Corrupt boards almost always hide their misdeeds by diverting funds to unapproved vendors. I was determined to follow the money. Late one night, while cross-referencing the vendor data with the county records, I hit the jackpot. Through simple open-source intelligence, OSINT, and basic county business filings, I discovered the truth. The third-party software company charging us exorbitant administrative fees for every drone fine was not an independent tech firm. It was an LLC registered to Brenda's husband. She was digitally skimming thousands of dollars from the neighborhood. Every time a drone photographed a misplaced chair or a garden gnome, her family made a direct profit. It was a staggering conflict of interest. I didn't sue her immediately. A civil lawsuit would take months, and she would just use our HOA funds to pay for her defense. I wanted to destroy her power at the source. So I quietly built an alternative, secure community app, hosted on independent servers she couldn't touch. Then I began my silent recruitment. I reached out to Mrs. Gable, the band residents, and frustrated neighbors, forming a documented coalition. Once they were securely onboarded, I showed them the OSINT evidence, the LLC registration, the money trail. I channeled their outrage into organized action. We gathered enough digital proxy votes in secret to force a mandatory recall meeting, bypassing the open forums where Brenda could sabotage us. The payoff arrived at the annual meeting. Brenda stood at the front, attempting to control the narrative. I stood up and requested the floor to present financial discrepancies. Brenda immediately reached for her tablet, trying to cut my microphone and shut off the main display. She thought her administrator access would save her. She was wrong. I hadn't hacked any mainframe. I simply arrived 20 minutes early and plugged a $15 wireless HDMI transmitter directly into the back of the clubhouse projector. I projected the LLC documents and the digital money trail directly onto the wall for 150 neighbors to see in high definition. The collective gasp from the room was deafening. There was the undeniable proof that her husband's company was siphoning our community funds. In exactly 15 minutes, the community used the very proxy system she forced upon us to vote her out unanimously. The authorities were notified, her software was seized, and we got our neighborhood back. The drones were grounded, the automated fines stopped, and Mrs. Gable kept her garden gnomes. You don't need expensive lawyers or brute force to beat a corrupt HOA. You just need to read the terms of service, pull the public records, follow the data, and let their own arrogance build the trap.